Good afternoon, children.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Ma'am.
We were discussing about erythroblastosis fetalis. Erythroblastosis fetalis is a condition arising because of the incompatibility between Rh positive and Rh negative blood. It usually happens when the mother is Rh negative and the baby in her womb is Rh positive. In the first pregnancy, it may not cause any complications, but in the second pregnancy, if proper precautions are not taken, the child can even die in the womb. It can lead to severe, serious complications. So let us learn more about erythroblastosis fetalis. Already we have learned about two types of blood grouping, ABO blood grouping and RH blood grouping. RH positive means RH factor is present. RH negative means RH factor is not present. And we also learned that normally or naturally RH antibodies or antibodies against RH factor are not found. And these will be produced only when they get exposed to the corresponding antigen. And this takes place due to the Rh incompatibility between the Rh negative blood of pregnant mother and Rh positive blood of the fetus. So here you can see the mother is Rh negative, but the child in the womb is Rh positive. So under normal conditions or in the first pregnancy, this won't be an issue because there is a placental barrier. A placenta is separating the mothers and the blood of the fetus. So there are less chances for the blood to get mixed together. But at the time of delivery, the blood of the mother and the blood of the child can get mixed up. So once it happens, once Rh negative blood of mother is exposed to Rh positive blood of the baby, what happens in response? Because mother's blood already, this Rh factor is not there. So when the blood gets exposed to Rh factor, Rh positive blood of the baby is getting mixed up with the mother's blood. So the blood will start producing antibodies against the Rh factor. Since delivery is done or delivery is completed, it won't affect the child. But these antibodies will remain in the blood of the mother. And in the next pregnancy, the child again is Rh positive because there are possibilities. When mother is negative and father is positive, the child might become Rh positive again. If again the next child is also Rh positive, the mother's blood already contains antibodies against Rh factor already produced at the time of the first delivery. So antibodies are already there in her body, and in the next pregnancy, if the baby is Rh positive again, these antibodies against the Rh factor can cross the placental barrier and reach the baby's blood, the blood of the fetus, and can cause serious complications. Rh antigens do not get mixed with the maternal blood in the first pregnancy because placenta separates the two bloods, means the blood of the mother and the fetus. But during first delivery, the internal blood may get exposed to a small amount of fetal blood, Rh positive. This will result, just see the figure, this might result in the production of antibodies against this Rh factor. And as a result, these antibodies will remain in her blood, and in the next pregnancy, if the child is positive, these antibodies will cross the placental barrier and will get mixed up with the baby's blood, and it can create severe complications. In case,
ma'am, in the first pregnancy, it does not cross the placental barrier, but in the
antibodies
second one,
are not produced, no? Antibodies are not produced at that time. Antibodies against the Rh factor are not produced at that time. The blood of the mother and the blood of the baby is getting separated. They are not getting a chance to mix together because of the placental barrier. But when delivery takes place, at the time of delivery, this fetal blood and a small amount of fetal blood can get mixed up with the mother's blood. So when the blood is getting exposed to that Rh positive blood, mother's blood will produce antibodies which will remain there. Okay, and these antibodies can cross the placental barrier, not the entire blood. These antibodies are able to cross the barrier. Clear, Steffi?
Yes, ma'am.
In the first case, it's not happening because mothers and the baby's blood has these bloods have not got mixed up. They are remaining separate because of the placenta. But at the time of the delivery, the mother's blood will get exposed to the fetus blood, the blood of the fetus. So in response to that, mother's body will produce antibodies which will remain in a blood, which is not going to affect the first baby because delivery has taken place. But these antibodies will remain. Once it is produced, it will remain there. Just like in vaccine and all, no, when we take vaccine, they'll start producing antibodies, and that antibodies will, you have learned all that, that antibodies will not go, it will remain in your blood, and whenever it is needed, they will come into action. So similarly, it will remain in the blood. And in the second pregnancy, if the baby is Rh negative again, no complications will be there. But we have to see the chances for a positive blood, the baby with Rh positive again, in case of the father is Rh positive. So then what happens is, at that time, mother's blood is already having the antibodies against this Rh factor. So these antibodies are capable of crossing the placental barrier and reaching the fetus or mixing up with the fetal blood, and that can lead to complications. In case of a subsequent pregnancies, the Rh antibodies from the mother leak into the fetal blood and can destroy the red blood cells of the fetus. This is fatal because when the red blood cells are getting damaged, this will lead to severe anemia and jaundice to the baby. The baby will get affected by jaundice and even severe anemia, and in most of the cases that can be that can lead to the death of the baby also. It can be fatal. And this condition is known as erythroblastosis fetalis. And there is a solution for this. In case the mother is negative and the baby is Rh positive and the delivery has taken place, and soon after the delivery, they can take an injection. That injection contains Rh immunoglobulin. So this substance or this protein will be injected into the blood of the mother so that it won't cause any complications in the next pregnancy, even if the baby is Rh positive. And this situation is known as erythroblastosis fetalis. It can be avoided by administering anti-Rh antibodies, that is Rh immunoglobulin, that can be administered so that it will prevent the action of these antibodies on the fetal red blood cells. Immediately after the first delivery, this injection should be taken. Okay, is that clear? Now don't get confused who is negative, whether the child or mother. Mother negative, baby positive. Mother will be negative and the baby is positive. And then in such a case, first pregnancy, it won't be a problem. But at the time of delivery, the blood of mother and the fetus might get mixed up, and this will result in the production of antibodies against Rh factor in mother's blood, and that will remain in her body. And in the next pregnancy, if the child is Rh positive again, these antibodies can leak through the placental barrier and can enter the fetal blood and can destroy the red blood cells of fetus. So when the red blood cells are destroyed, it can lead to anemia, jaundice, it can be fatal also. So in order to avoid all these complications, soon after the first pregnancy, an injection containing Rh, anti-Rh antibodies can be taken so that there won't be any complications in the next pregnancy, even if the child is Rh positive. Is that clear? Need any extra explanation?
No, ma'am.
Okay. It's very important.
Ma'am, so what does the injection do?
That will prevent the act. This is, see, as such it is written anti-RH antibodies. So it acts against it. So the antibodies won't be able to, or these injection or these substance, this particular substance which has been taken, that will destroy those antibodies. So they won't be able to attack the RBCs of fetus blood. Okay, only if these antibodies are present, if they attack the red blood cells of fetus only, they will get affected, or the fetus will get affected by anemia, jaundice, etc. But this injection is having substances which will work against these antibodies. Anti-RH antibody. So anti means against. So that will be working against those antibodies already produced in mother's blood. So that it will not cause any negative impact on the baby, even if the child or the fetus is positive. Now, next is about the different types of blood vessels. You have learned already from maybe class 7, you have been learning the different types of blood vessels. Blood vessels are of three types: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries, what is the role of arteries? Steffi, tell me what is the function of artery?
They take pure blood from the heart to
Different parts of the body.
body.
See, arteries, veins. Okay, so artery, so this is alphabet. This I have already told you. Even without all these tricks and tips, you might be remembering, but still, artery and vein. So artery, this you can consider the vertex or the common point, you can consider as heart. Here you can take this point as heart. So here you can put arrows. So with the help of the first alphabet, you can understand the function, or you can recollect easily the function of arteries and veins. So artery carries blood from heart to different parts of the body. Then veins, from different parts of the body, blood is taken to the heart. Okay, so artery always carry, because it is being supplied to different parts. Your body needs pure blood, oxygenated blood. Pure blood means oxygenated, which is rich in oxygen. Okay, oxygenated. And just a minute. Okay, so arteries carry oxygenated blood, blood which is rich in oxygen, that is oxygenated blood. Whereas veins carry deoxygenated blood, blood rich in carbon dioxide. And except, there is an exemption for both arteries and veins. All the arteries carry pure blood. All the arteries carry pure or oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood. Okay, arteries, they carry blood from heart to other tissues or to different parts of the body. They carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. And the small branches of arteries you call as arterioles. The smaller branches are known as arterioles. So here also you can see artery is branching into smaller vessels. So here artery, this is branching into smaller vessels. So branches of artery you call as arterioles. And arteries are three layered. Arteries are provided with three layers: inner layer, outer layer, middle layer. Inner tunica. Tunica means a layer. Inner tunica intima, that is inner layer. Tunica media, middle. Tunica externa, external layer. So inner tunica intima is made up of squamous endothelium. And middle tunica endothelium, I have already mentioned, it's a type of epithelium. And middle tunica media, smooth muscles, made up of smooth muscles and elastic fibers. And the outermost layer is known as tunica externa. It's made up of fibrous connective tissue. I'll repeat once again. There are three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries are the blood vessels which carry blood from the heart to different parts of the body. They carry oxygenated or pure blood except pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood, or which is rich in carbon dioxide. And the smaller branches, artery branches into minute vessels, you call it as arterioles, or the branches of artery are known as arterioles. And artery consists of three layers. Okay, the arterial wall, the wall of the artery is made up of three layers: inner layer, outer layer, and middle layer. Inner layer, you call it as tunica intima. Middle layer, tunica media. And tunica externa forms the outermost layer. Innermost layer is made up of squamous endothelium. Middle layer made up of smooth muscles and elastic fibers. External layer is made up of fibrous connective tissue. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
We'll continue last period. If I start the next topic also, we cannot continue. Okay, please do read it and come what has been covered. Thank you, children.